On Saturday, May 27th, Memorial Day weekend, the extended family gathered to honor the birthday of Charles Walkup. Pastor Alan Walkup, his son, gave a wonderful tribute.
I just wrote down some words. So first of all, it's a privilege really to be able to address everybody on such a great day on Dad's 90th birthday and celebrate Charles Walkup. And I'm speaking to multiple families today. If you think about it, we have the Walkups, the Emerys, the Wickstroms, the Haynes, the Gees, and the Hubbards. And on behalf of all of them, Dad, we want to say happy birthday, and we appreciate you. And there's one person we all have in common, and it's this man right here that we call Dad or Grandpa. And I just want to share a bit on the huge part that he had in all our lives, maybe more than we even realize, especially for the younger kids that don't know so much about him. But Charles was born in Big Run, Pennsylvania on May 25th, 1933. Is that right, Dad?
Right.
All right. At age 17, he enlisted in the U.S. Marine Corps and reported to boot camp in 1950 in Parris Island, South Carolina. And after that, he was stationed in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. Then as a young man, he was shipped off to the Mediterranean to several nations over there for training, and for 6 months in maneuvers with the 6th Fleet. He went over there. Dad then volunteered to join the fight in the Korean War. He volunteered for that, which I didn't know till recently. He didn't have to go, but he said, I want to go and fight. So then he reported to Camp Pendleton in San Diego, California, on the other coast, where he would be shipped off eventually to Korea to join the war on the front lines. And Dad fought heroically as part of the 1st Marine Division, Infantry Company, 1st Battalion. And then after Dad spent about 3 years in the Marine Corps, he left Korea as a corporal in the fall of 1953 and came home to Pennsylvania. 3 cheers for Pennsylvania. The Walkups, as you mostly know, the Walkups' roots are in Pennsylvania. But now we've spread to Arkansas, Florida, Texas, New York, Oklahoma, and even Canada. Gone international. But it all started with this hardworking guy right here, who was a hardworking husband and dad in Pennsylvania, making a living as a young man in tough times after he came home from the Marines. And that's where our family all came from. And I was going through some of the jobs Dad worked in Pennsylvania, and my brother Glenn had to help me with this, and then Dad helped me fill in the blanks. But here's some of the jobs. He worked at a tire company in Punxsutawney. He told me he made retreads and snow tires. And then he drove truck, hauling coal from strip mines for a man named Dean Barrett, locally. So he drove truck, and then he was a prison guard at a state penitentiary in Pennsylvania. He worked at the Big Run Milling Company, making feed for livestock, right there near his home. Then he plowed fields for Dean Barrett, so he worked in the fields, drove tractor. And then he worked at a coal tipple for Bob's dad for a while, moving and loading coal onto trucks, which in Pennsylvania, that was a big industry. Then he worked at Fairman Drilling Company in DuBois on a drilling rig. And then, of course, he got the job most of us know him as a railroader for over 40 years. First a brakeman, then ended up as a conductor and retired from the chassis system, B&O, and other names, but a great railroad system. So here's some observations I think we can all learn from Dad and all that he did. I realized our dad, our grandpa, he did hard things. He didn't stop or quit when things were tough. He persevered, and he moved from one thing to the next to do whatever was needed. And he did it well. He fulfilled his duties in the Marines as a young man and as a soldier. He fulfilled his duties, but then he came home and fulfilled his duties as a provider in our family. So, Dad, thank you for all your hard work. And, we're all reminded from time to time that this is what we all have to do at times. We have to do hard things, no matter what your career is or your task, and we all have many different things we all do in life. But one thing is for sure, we have to do hard things sometimes. And we have to push through and do what's required at the moment. We do what's needed. And if there's no applause or no one seems to notice, we do it anyway. And I think we learned a lot of that from our dad. You just do it anyway. You push through and you do what's needed. We don't take the easy route, and we certainly don't give up. So make no mistake, it's great to have some strong branches already in the family tree. So Dad was certainly a very strong branch in our family tree. Our dad's tenacity and work ethic are now part of our collective heritage. So thank you, Dad, for the heritage you've given us of hard work and sticking to things. Now, a heritage is a very important thing. A good heritage leaves the next generation an advantage because, if somebody came before you and did hard things yet persevered, it sets a pace for you. It sets a high bar for you, and it makes it easier to continue on for yourself. And we have somebody who came before us. He did whatever it took, no matter what life handed him, and these are our roots now, and we have something to be greatly proud of because of Dad. Dad, you've given us something to be grateful for in this family. And I want you to know, all of us, and I'm speaking for everybody, we noticed all you have done, and we appreciate it all through your life. No matter the job or task, you did it well. You taught us how to do the same. There are things we all do that get traced back to you, the way some of us maybe take meticulous planning on road trips and research a map. We learned that from you. And to know how to truly plan and appreciate a trip away after a hard season of work. You taught us that. To be satisfied with the job well done that we did with our own hands. You taught us that. Even though Glenn will probably never garden again. He learned about it from you. And my son, as I looked in his garage in his very first house, he built this amazing workbench. And it looks a whole lot like the workbench you built and that I built. And we learned it from you because you knew how to do things, do them well, and be proud of the effort. Here's something else I noticed on another hand, or on another note. I noticed Dad's Bible when we moved him. We packed it up for his big move to Oklahoma. His Bible was well worn. That means Dad read his Bible. He went to church on a regular basis, and he was even in a small group, in a Bible study small group in his condo. The pastors at Chestnut Grove knew Dad personally, as well as the church congregation. They knew Dad. I went to church with him there. And I noticed that. So thank you, Dad, for helping add faith to our family tree. We appreciate that. Now, as I wind this up, listen, words can be overrated, but actions never are. And I'm so proud that our dad was a man of action. He wasn't a man who just said things or watched others do things, but he did things himself. He didn't do it for the applause or the nonsense or the what kids today call the branding. Dad just did things because they needed to be done. He didn't talk about it, but he did the work. So thank you, Dad, for living a great life that we get the benefit of. Happy 90th birthday. We all love you and we honor you today. We are so happy to celebrate you on this day. So Dad, thank you. Let's give him a hand clap. And we mean it, and you deserve every bit of it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Do we get to blow out some candles now?
Right.
I don't usually like to talk after the preacher, unless I'm asking for money. What a joy and rare thing it is to see so many family for a happy occasion. That is remarkable. So thank you to everyone who made the effort to be here today. That is a rare and special thing. Also, it looks a little bit like a Rhema Bible College graduation reunion weekend. But it is special to see everyone, and also to what Uncle Alan said so well. Grandpa, you held the two greatest titles a man can have in this country, which is the best country in the world. You were a soldier and a father. The two most important things that a man could ever do, you did. So thank you. Thank you. And also, when we think about Grandpa and your legacy, you weren't always talking louder and speaking up all the time. When you said something, everyone wanted to listen when you spoke. And it occurred to me when I was older now as a woman and seeing you, that your faith is the same way. I know that when you got hurt in December, you were reading your testimonial and you were reading the book of Corinthians, because that's the day that it was turned to on the page whenever you fell. And it said, love conquers all. And I know you were reading that day, and to me, I think you have fought so hard and you worked so hard to be here, and I know sometimes it was frustrating, but you know that everyone loves you and everyone's looking out for you. So thank you for that. Also, your faith sets an example, because it's not about who prays the loudest and the most. It's about how you live your life. And you've done a wonderful job. And also, because of you, look at all these people with really wide feet who just want ice cream. Happy birthday, Grandma. I love you.
Oh, well said.
Throughout the day, there was fun, fellowship, and bonding among family members, and a highlight of the day was Walkup's ice cream shop. See ice cream here like a vanilla. What do you got there? Yours. As the events of the day progressed into early evening, we enjoyed fellowship around a campfire, and others continued to fish and mill about and visit, strengthen bonds and renew fellowship among each other. And what a perfect ending to a wonderful, wonderful day. So as we close out this video honoring Charles Walkup, please enjoy some of the photos that were taken and memories that were created during this wonderful day. As the temperatures dipped into the coolness of a spring Oklahoma evening, we were not only warmed by the fire, but by the sight of the bonding among the cousins, and the fun they were having throughout the day. And Glennie, you fit the role of chauffeur to a T. The evening was capped off with a hot dog and marshmallow roast over the campfire.
That is so sad. No fires on there.
A few of us spent some time fishing at the pond, but the catch of the day was Mr. Trip Walkup, who hauled in a big chunk of a bluegill.
Oh, you got a big one.
Oh, he got a big one.
Should we get a big one?
Yeah, he got a big one.
You got a big one. I got one.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one.
It's really bad because I got a little.
Look at that.
I got it.
That's a nice one.
That's wow. Now we need it. Bring it. I got it.
All right. Yeah, that's a big one. Look at that. I mean, look at that. It's bigger than my hand. Good grief. It's a big old, is that green sunfish or something?
I go.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Good job.
Good job.
Another one?
Yeah.
Yeah,